remember things. It's more than just void, darkness, unconsciousness. The mind does work. There are images, patterns, things to recollect. It's not just the long, deep sleep that comes when the fear has left. The cold is felt, the slipping away of feeling is noted and then succumbed to. The mind functions. Time is distorted, jumbled, telescoped, accordion, but there is a sense of time even so. And I remember things. I remember the way it began. I remember the way it was in the beginning.
Daddy, I think he's lost his mind. He's never been like this before. Tonight he was almost raving.
What did you say?
Oh, crazy things. That he's some kind of a spaceman and that they're taking over the Earth and that we're all going to die.
Better give him some thought.
Every time you start with the speed of light.
Mentally disturbed.
When a space agency put me on my smartphone, don't listen to me. They told me to keep in mind the scientific process. And what do we know about our latest man?
Better give him some help.
Don't listen to him. He's one of us. He's with the advanced unit.
Unit? What kind of advanced unit, son?
Don't fight them, son.
It'll only make it more difficult for all of us.
But what was that? What was that thing we used to say? We used to say, where there is an ill, there is a way. So, be part of the experiment. Right here on Experimentally Ill Radio. It's been a while, folks. I'm going to call this episode 101. It is September 30th, 2017. I am your host, Mike O'Toole. Hey, remember me? We do this show. You can find us on experimentallyIll.com. And Facebook.com/experimentallyIll, and I think there's a Twitter, and yes, I remember this show. It is a podcast talking to my friends here in the weird world of New England. We talk to a lot of artists, entertainers, eccentric characters I run across, and thanks for coming on the journey. Thanks for checking it out again, experimentallyIll.com, and I'm grateful. I'm grateful to continue this. It's been a while. Go there. 100 shows. Check him out. Some audio. What have we been doing? I said there was going to be special. You're going to hear episode 100. It's going to go up there. But in the meantime, we've done some video. I tried to do kind of experimentally ill, kind of like the podcast as a TV show. And I got to thank our friend, Miss Mary Mack, alternative model, and our buddy, Chris Kimball. She was on there with me, and Chris was a technical director. Got to learn some TV production, and the folks at Brookline Interactive Group helped us out. So check out some of that stuff, and check out some other stuff I've been doing, some video. Been helping out my buddy, Victor, a.k.a. DJ Koro from, he does a night, it's called The Attic, and at the Machine nightclub, where I've been filming their go-go dancers, the Flowers in the Attic, and those videos they're up on the youtube.com/experimentallyIll, and doing all sorts of stuff with him. In the meantime, that's what I've been up to, if anyone's like, what have you been up to? But now a really cool, somebody who reached out to me and said, hey, have me on your show, because I hear you like having weird people, and weird is not necessarily always a bad thing. So I'm going to introduce Kelly here. She's the spirit medium from Rhode Island. It's Halloween time, almost. We're not going to get haunted, but I think we might talk to some spirits today. You can find her on Facebook. It's a business page. She is known as the Purple Aura Love Goddess. And she's also, I have talked to a lot of people, creative people, do a lot of different things. And she also does belly dancing. She's a belly dancer. She does some other art too, some painting. She'll paint your pets, I hear. And then she also is a Metatronia light energy practitioner. She's talking to the Metatron. She's a vessel, talking to the voice of God. And with that, hello to Kelly. I know it took a while. We have some people. In a little, we're going to talk to Kelly, and we're going to make sure dust off the equipment, and we're gonna get to some phone calls and stuff, and we're gonna talk to not actual dead people, but like people who want to talk to the spirits, right? So you have your cards. Is it tarot cards, or make sure your mic is all set up there. Hello, yes.
Okay. I actually have some cards here. I have my oracle cards. I'm going to have some clients call in so you can kind of get a sample of what I do when I'm talking to spirit for them, giving them some...
Just make sure you stay in front of that. I know it looks like I'm autistic because I have to do my this is my intro, and then I'm just focused on the microphone, but we have some video going. We'll be seeing that'll be trickling out, but primarily audio, which is good. I think it's gonna be people are gonna in the spirits are gonna be talking right in your ear today.
Yeah, this is the first time I'm doing channeling and talking, like recording on radio. You done like some Facebook Live stuff and some Skype stuff too. Yeah, and I also did some phone conference radio shows where people are calling over from all over, and they would just kind of put me in the conference, and so I'm just kind of doing it off my phone. So this is the first time I'm doing it like real, like studio.
Oh, like
style.
in a space.
Yeah,
cool. So easy question. It's more of a talk. It's a conversation, not so much an interview. But so how do you get into this? I know you're a creative person. Sort of have a, I don't want to overuse like, oh, it's a weird person, eccentric, but you're kind of in tune with doing different stuff, and you've.
Yeah.
How did you arrive at the whole medium thing? Is this the thing people say with an art? It found them. They didn't find it. So I don't know. Do you get chosen to be? I'll play the role of the skeptic too. I don't want to make. I don't want people who are into this. I don't want to make light of it. But it is an entertainment show. So when you say honestly, purple or a love god. So you're a kook basically for the skeptics.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. When they market it, they try to not make it too serious so people don't feel like intimidated or like expecting something or whatever that. Actually, there's a place in Braintree that I used to work for, a holistic center that they market it as entertainment. Like people don't have to take it so seriously. They can be just sitting there.
Well, the tarot cards, I remember that's always been like a that is like kind of a Halloween thing.
Yeah, right? It's for fun, and and obviously there's a lot of times where it can be very real, and it is very surreal, and you can get a lot of clarification, obviously, that it's really spot on, and it can be pretty far out and exciting and very fun, and then you can kind of want to do it again because you want to get further clarification. And obviously, hearing it and communicating and doing all the things that I do, especially when I'm with like a group of mediums and they do things like communicating with pendulums and table tipping, it can be pretty crazy. Like when you're seeing things actually happening and you know what that means. But it's not for everyone, but it can be pretty awesome if you get into it.
So how did you get into it?
Well, I knew that I was having a lot of paranormal experiences, like when I was a teenager and stuff like that. It used to scare me, and typically, when I talk to other mediums, not everyone is raised by a medium or raised by shamans and things like that, because I do know some people that were, and it was a little more comfortable for them. But when that's going on with you and your parents aren't like paranormal people or like, supernatural people, things that you can't really come up to them and tell them like, oh, I'm talking to ghosts without them thinking you're crazy. So I kind of suppressed it and never really got into it until I was in college, and I met some different people that were into things like tarot cards and things like that. And then my friend's mother was a shaman. And so I thought she would be a good person to talk to. And then she pushed me in the direction of a local medium, Anna, who taught what they called a spirit circle. Because she said, my friend said, I can't teach you because I'm not a teacher in this kind of thing, but she's a great teacher. Because I was starting to get curious about tapping back into it, because I'm like, this is something that I know has been happening to me, and I'm interested in bringing it up.
So when you say happening to you, I'm
hearing spirit, having experiences where I would just kind of be, sitting amongst my friends or something like that, and lights are flickering and I'm getting some visuals, and I wouldn't typically get visuals all the time, but now that I'm opening myself to receiving spirit, talking to spirit, whatever you want to call it, I want to say like I call it level up because I don't know what else to call it, but like I was only getting a feeling and a brushing and then occasional talking, like occasional talking, and now they're talking, and now I'm getting visuals, and I'm not scared because they go at my pace, because getting actual visuals of spirit to some people could be scary because they know what they're seeing and it's talking to them, and sometimes people they tell spirit they don't want to see it, they'd rather just hear it and then tell everyone what they hear, and it is what it is. So, was this before you were doing the crystal stuff, the Reiki crystals?
Yeah,
the cool thing about the Spirit Circle is they didn't solely focus on teaching us mediumship. They did all kinds of things because when it comes to...
So this is like a group that you got...
Yep, it was every week, and people would get together and they would do metaphysical practice that, is in all different cultures, and kind of like trying different things, because typically when you are someone that's interested... Because I don't want to say when you have gifts, because anyone that does this kind of work, if they focus on it, they can do it. It's not like only certain people, special people that get to do it. It's you chose to practice this, so Spirit's going to help you get better at it, and you just need to seek out good teachers that will help you master it. And I know one of the things that you were asking me about earlier is like, are there evil spirits, or can I get haunted, or things like that? And you really got to know what you're doing, because like, say something like
you want exciting stuff to happen.
Yeah, you want exciting things to happen, and good things to happen.
Yeah, you did say that. Was it not one of during your things, but you said something like the power there can be a power surge in your phone when we're going to take calls to be a. So that's has that happened to you?
Yeah, I went to what they call the spiritualist church, and they do a lot of it's not like a church, like it's a religion. They just hold space for what they would call spiritualist practice, like crystals and all of those things, where they pray to energy, they pray for good energy, and then they always have a guest speaker every single week. So a lot of people go so they can get free mediumship, because there'll be mediums coming from all over the place.
So my point of reference, and I think not that I was like a huge follower, and it's like there's probably some other people out there now in popular culture, but there was that TV show Crossing Over with John Edward or something, and he was like, and he would pick people out of the audience.
Yeah, well, that's actually what they do.
I think there was something fishy about him. He might have been like debunked or something, but I know that was.
Well, that is the style that they did it, where they would pick somebody out of the audience, and they would feel guided to go over to that person. And both of my parents are deceased, and they exist in spirit, and both of my parents have come through during when I would go there and get free mediumship, which was really cool, and it was fun, and it would be pretty far out that they were playing a certain song, and then after my father was channeled, he was changing it to songs that were relevant to what was communicated, and it was pretty crazy, because like he was flipping the channels on the TV and stuff like that.
So there was a TV there, and it started flipping.
Yeah, because they have this TV where they'll show the lyrics of the song that they're choosing to sing. That's like in that style.
Wait, who's singing? Somebody there, or
the
spirits are singing?
That's what I'm saying. No, the spirits are not singing. No, because they like I said, they do kind of hold it in like a style of a church.
I just did this show because I wanted to talk about make a Ghostbusters reference somewhere.
Yeah, but no, they
some point. Not that really was it. I'm just
you should call a spirit medium. Like, who are you gonna call when there's ghosts in your house? That's who you should call. They can help you. I'm not trying to do like exorcisms or anything like that, but there are people that do, and I am aware of all of that kind of stuff, but it's just not my style. But yeah,
who are you going to call? Purple aura love goddess. What is it? Angel healing practitioner. What is that? That's another one of your titles.
Metatronia.
That's the Metatron.
Yeah, Metatronia light energy therapy.
Which then all I can think of is the Metatron, played by Alan Rickman in Kevin Smith's Dogma film.
Yeah, I know a lot of people do make that reference when I bring it up because
Really?
it's not something that it's actually from Australia. It's not something that's like totally widely known. I'm the only one that does it in Rhode Island, and they have a register of all the different people from around the world that practice it. But it's as opposed to Reiki, it's not working with the energy that already exists in your body to clear it out and help you feel better. It's more like bringing a healing energy into your body, and you overhydrate and you drink a lot of water, and it works through the power of water as if the water's a crystal. And you digest it, and it can just kind of flush out a lot of crap. It's been known to help people with ADD. It can help you if you have like addiction. A lot of people that have addiction seek out Metatronia, and the purpose of Metatronia is it's helping humanity stop dissolving itself with things like addiction and bad food and things like that.
Okay.
That it kind of helps them be more in control.
Which I have some experience with.
Yeah.
Lately.
Yeah. And what is
that was the other thing that happened to me is in lieu of the podcast, it was I ate a lot of too much pizza delivery. And I got sick. I got the reflux. Bad food, typical American diet.
I think I'm gonna have my first one go because she has.
Do you want to go? Do you want to?
Because she has work at 5:30, so okay. I think we should probably start.
We'll do 4 people. So let's do some of those calls so you can show off some of what you're talking about, and then we can come back and talk some more. So do we know who we're gonna? I guess it depends.
The first person that's gonna call is Abby. She just asked if she go first because she's actually got work after. But it's only 10 minutes per person.
All these people want to get spirits. They all work late on the weekends.
Yeah, they're really excited about my work. So I'm going to put it on. She's going to call in a moment.
Or you can call her when we...
she's calling.
Ready?
Hello, Abby? Hi, how are you?
Ooh, I don't think you're in there. You on speaker? Ooh, I don't know that.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Oh, there you
There
are.
you go.
Okay.
Sorry.
Hi.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. It's been a pretty good day so far.
All right, I'm going to open space for you so we can get the ball rolling with your reading.
Excellent.
I have my oracle cards here. I'm going to do some oracle cards for you, and then if any spirit comes through for you, I'll just let you know. So, because we're scheduled 10 minutes per person. All right, Abby?
Excellent.
All right. So, I'm going to pray that all the communication that's involved is serving Abby's highest and best. Any spirit that comes through is coming down comfortably from her guides and loved ones that exist in spirit, and that my ego and judgment is aside, so all of the messages for her are for her highest and best. What's been on your mind lately?
A lot of my grandmother, especially today.
What's going on with her?
Well, today is the anniversary of her passing away, so.
And does she have white curly hair?
It's curly-ish. She dyed it.
Yes. I actually have a spirit that's coming through from you that has white curly hair and a white sweater. Are you familiar with this person?
Oh my gosh! Yes.
And who is this person?
That's my grandma Shirley.
Oh, great! Yes. Well, she was interested in coming through, and this is not the same grandmother that you were talking about.
No.
Okay.
No, I wasn't expecting
she's
to hear from her. That's awesome.
She's laughing about something. Is it because you found out who she is?
What was that?
She's coming through laughing.
Yeah, oh my gosh, she was a hoot, honestly. Like, we had so much fun with her.
Yeah, she makes me feel happy. She makes me feel like I want to laugh, and she seems like a really fun, comfortable person.
Yeah, she was. Oh,
all right,
wow.
Well, you do, and you do miss your other grandmother a lot.
Oh my gosh, a ton. She was such an important figure in my life.
Do you pray to her often?
I do, yeah.
Yes, I'm getting clarification in my cards that that she is hearing your prayers, and she wants to help you with what you're going through. Are there specific things that you've been praying for her to help you with?
Yeah. I've been looking for just a lot, just direction in life, especially just where I'm at with my age, being 21 and finishing school. Life is taking all sorts of directions,
Yeah, and I remember, you're into like art and things like that, right? Like you're a singer. Yeah.
Music,
Following the journey of expression, expressing yourself, loving yourself, feeling very beautiful. Keep that strong because you're going to go really far with that, and she wants to help you with that.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yes, and your other grandmother gives you a big hug, and she says you're doing a great job. And I'm gonna kind of leave it there because we're doing really quick readings. But I'd love to read for you again sometime. And thanks for calling in, Abby.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. That's a lot of encouragement for today.
Of course. Have a good day.
All right. Goodbye.
Bye.
That was cool.
Yeah, that was the first one. Let's see.
I lost my grandmother a few years ago.
Yeah, so it actually, the second person wanted to reschedule because he's stuck at work, so it's actually syncing up where they're having only a couple minutes behind, so I'm going to have the next person called. And this person's Kathy. I've actually never read for her before. I'm going to call her.
Okay, let's do it.
Sorry, I'm still new to how to do it in this style, so I think we got it going pretty good.
Seemed like a natural.
Yeah, I'm just going with the flow, and one of the other things, they guide me what to do, so they're like, just call them instead of having them call you, because then it'll go right to you.
That's right, take control of the situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hi, Kathy. How are you today? It's Kelly.
Good. How are you?
Good. You're on the air. And I actually have my oracle cards here, so I'm going to hold space for you so I can communicate with Spirit, kind of, ask you what you've been going through lately, pull a few cards, and see whoever comes through for you to help with the divination that I'm going to do.
Okay.
And what's been going on with you lately? What's on your mind?
Well, I've had some financial concerns, and a loved one close to me that has been away, and he's been trying to come back from his travel, but he's been having troubles with that as well.
Sure. So, what's going on financially?
Just a lot of bills though, and it's just been tough for me to be able to pay them and pay them on time too, or trying to pay them down now so I don't have all these extra bills.
Sure. Have you been having a hard time with finding work?
Well, I'm working though. It's just too many bills though that I'm trying to pay off.
Sure, I'm going to pull a few cards for you on that.
Okay.
Are you familiar with the law of attraction?
Yes, I am.
Yes. Keep focusing on what you do want, more clarity, more stability in your bills. Don't focus on the energy of the bills piling on because you're overwhelming yourself.
Okay.
And it's kind of giving off that energy of being overwhelmed. And surrender. You are very powerful. You're typically in control. You're just kind of getting a little bit of a bump in the road, but you're going to get through this. And Mary Magdalene's energy is here to help you.
Okay.
She wants you to be gentle with yourself. You kind of push yourself too hard, and you get down on yourself because you feel out of control.
Right. Yeah.
And do you have any dogs that exist in spirit? I'm feeling this brown dog that may have known you or may have belonged to you.
He belonged to me, but he's still in the physical.
Oh, okay. Okay. It's sometimes when I talk with animal spirits, it's hard for me to clarify if they're just kind of communicate, because I also do animal communication if they're existing in spirit or if they're around. That your dog's reminding you to seek comfort in playing with him and stuff like that, so you don't feel so overwhelmed, because they're here to help us with unconditional love and making life not so crazy.
Okay.
And what specific? What do you have a specific question about your finances? Like if they're going to be calming down?
Yeah, I'd like to have be able to pay off bills though, so I don't have so many, so I can have a little bit extra money, to play with.
Yeah, because I feel like maybe you should be. Do you not have as many opportunities to seek out more work? Like, is there anything you could be doing on the side?
Well, I kind of maxed out with time right now, though.
Sure. Yeah, I understand how that feels.
Yeah.
Never feel bad about, reaching out to family and things for help, that sometimes, we only have so much means of helping ourselves, and
Okay.
family, that's what family's there for, and you are so hardworking, and you only have so many hours in the day that I feel a lot of love coming off of that, like a lot of initiation, that don't be afraid and don't be ashamed to ask your family for help, that they love you so much, and they would never think like,
All right, I might do that then.
Sure. And you were saying that there's someone that is going to come to you that what did you say after the financial thing?
I'm sorry.
You said that there's someone that. Hello? Oh,
yeah, I'm still
sorry.
here.
I'm talking on a microphone. I'm not used to doing it, so I need to keep my face towards the microphone, and I'm like talking.
Okay.
And yeah, not too close too. This is the first time I'm talking on a microphone show. Yeah. You said something else after the financial troubles, like there's somebody that's trying to reach out to you or something.
Yeah, there's a loved one that's close to me though. He had to go away for travel for business.
Sure.
But he's having this keeps be something like stopping him from leaving from the business trip so he can come back home, and it's getting frustrating for him and for me. So I was just wondering, if there was a time frame, or if there's something, that he can do differently, though, just so he can really put in needs still, so he can come home.
One moment.
Hello?
I said, sorry, one moment. I was just communicating with the person that's next in line.
Okay.
Does he have something holding him back, like that has to do with his job or something like that?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Does he have something holding him back that has to do with his job or something like that? Like something
Yeah, it keeps to be always something new that keeps happening that's stopping him from finishing.
Yeah, this is a kind of work where he needs to be working on himself more, and that's something that I could go much farther on, but I since I'm doing many different readings one after another, I'm going to have to maybe clarify a little more for you on that another time, because I'm doing such short readings today. But thank you for reaching out to me and getting this call, and I'd love to communicate for you more another time. So I hope that
great.
is good for you. Thank you.
Okay, great. Calling. Yeah, we'll contact soon.
All
Thank
right,
you so much.
Yep, of course. Bye.
All right. Bye.
A lot of people looking for answers.
Yeah, well,
I like that.
It gets on a roll like that, but then when you have a certain time, you need to cut them off.
No, I know. I'm saying it in sort of a positive way, that it is sort of, whether I'm talking to creative people or mental health issues kind of run in my family, or just anyone, like you kind of hit on, you can get overwhelmed. Like she was talking about bills and things, and you can you're almost kind of counseling them through that.
Yeah, and I really love it for
some
that.
People,
it does kind of feel like counseling.
And I think good or bad, I think some people just need somebody else to talk to, and sometimes you can get a third party who's not like a relative or even really a close friend. Somebody can kind of come in and look at the situation in an impartial way to kind of give them advice and stuff. And whether or not people are definitely, they have a lost loved one, or they're looking for that closure to be able to hear from them through someone like you. But even just say, hey, like, want to reach out to the living while they're living too. I think that's a good message.
Yeah.
Your friends, your family who are there.
Yeah, but it is kind of nice to have that extra where maybe the person that does exist in spirit was someone that you typically went to, where you always had that comfort, because that's something that I missed from my mother when she passed away. That getting the answers in spirit was such an amazing blessing, where like I missed her answers because she's so smart and she's so helpful. That. It's I know I keep moving back from the microphone.
That's why you have your headphones for your levels. But don't get too loud though. Yeah. But I'm right.
Right, so I'm gonna call the next person, Lonnie.
Okay, cool. No, this is good. This is fun. I'm glad I can help you with this.
Even if we do it again sometime, maybe I'll be better at it.
I think you're good. No, you're
Thank
doing
you.
a good job. It's interesting.
Yeah, it's fun. But yeah, that's one of the reasons why I do it, because some people feel so much comfort in it, and when I give them the right answer that helps them, it feels good. It's like I did my job right.
Yeah. Connecting people to each other.
Call has been forwarded to an automated voice messaging.
Lonnie, back a different time.
Do we have someone else?
Yeah, we'll just move on to the next person, then I'll try calling her again afterwards.
So far, the phone is not shorted out or anything. We're ready to believe you. Call.
Lonnie, and then James was the last one. Where is he? Oh, there he is. All right, and now I'm going to try calling James. He was scheduled for 10 past, so I'll just call him now.
Ooh, there you go.
Hello, James.
Yes.
Hi, I called you a little early because I didn't get through to the last caller. How are you doing today?
Can you hear me okay?
Oh, yep, I can hear you just fine. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're cutting in and out.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I can hear you.
Hi, so I have my oracle cards here. I'm going to do a little bit of pulling cards for you for whatever is going on in your mind. And if I get some spirit that wants to add a little bit as well, I'll do that for you as well.
Okay.
All right, so what's been on your mind, James?
What's been on my mind lately?
Like, you can go down certain paths for me to kind of zoom in one at a time if you'd like love or finances or health, like anything that sticks out that you kind of feel like you'd like some answers for.
Well, I have this girl that I really like.
Do you mind saying her name?
It's Carrie.
And what's on your mind about Carrie?
Oh,
You like her? You like her?
Yeah, I really like her.
And are you interested if she likes you? Is that kind of what you're wondering about?
Yeah.
All right, let me pull some cards on that. I know you guys have been spending a lot of time together, and that's really cool. All right. Well, Lakshmi, she's the ascended master of manifestation. That you're manifesting her into your life because she is very much like you and sees things very much the way that you do. So liking her is a very natural thing, a natural desire to be with her. So, and typically it feels like, she's really appreciating that you are very genuine. And that just keep doing what you do and be patient. Appreciate the time that you have together now, and just go with the flow because everything is happening the way that you're wanting it to. And the Wheel of Fortune card is major clarification of that. That you've gone through so much in your life with things that ups and downs like we all do. That this will be a much more stable, happy, fun thing to do. And I also pulled another law of attraction card, sacred law of attraction, that what you put into it is what you will get out. So if you feel anxious or you feel anything, that you're the one that's in control. Really put into it what you want to get out, and she will feel that because I'm getting clarification that she's thinking of you too. And with everything in her life and everything in your life, she's kind of meeting you where you're at and taking it slow, but really happy to be involved with you.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'm glad that I can get that answer for you. Did you want any other clarification on that?
No, that's good.
What else has been on your mind?
Like job related.
Sure.
Honestly.
What do you do for a job?
I help students consolidate their student loans and try to get them out of federal defaults so that they're not getting wage garnished, that kind of stuff.
So they're having trouble with like debt.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's a really good job. I'm sure there's a lot of people going through that. So are you interested in staying with this, or is it like stressful?
It can be stressful, but the thing is I'm so good at it. I'm like getting commission checks all the time. It's like it's hard to leave that when you're getting commission like that.
Well, yeah, that's money. That's awesome. I understand.
Yeah, it's only 10 minutes away from work, which is awesome.
Yeah.
10 minutes away from home.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, and the people there are, wonderful. It's just that, I don't want to do that for the rest of my life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'd like to do something that I really enjoy, but I'm still deciding.
Sure.
I'd like to go back to school.
Yeah, I'm pulling a few cards on that as you're talking. The first card that comes up is to don't be afraid to try something new. If there's anything that sticks out to you, since you're doing so well in it, you may have a little bit of free time to kind of fit little things here or there. Is there anything that comes to mind that you kind of been curious about?
I like to work with animals in some capacity.
Yeah, well, there are a lot of opportunities to like volunteer at shelters and things like that. Actually, it's funny that you brought that up. The Attleboro, I mean, I know you live in Boston, but I'm sure this is true for a lot of different shelters. But Attleboro just sticks out to me because it's near where I live. But they're looking for people, and there could never be too many volunteers at a shelter, and it can give you the experience with the work, and then still having your basic 9 to 5, but just kind of doing something. Because what the other card that I picked out is the World, and it's showing that like you're so in control of everything in your world that you're almost kind of getting bored. And that's why you're seeking out other things, because it's feeling kind of stagnant, like same in thing day in out, day out. And make sure you take some time to yourself to kind of, are you into things like meditation? Yeah,
oh, definitely.
Yeah, if you really meditate on that, it'll kind of just come to you, and trust your gut. And I think you're from knowing you on a personal level, like your loving, playful energy, I can see why you'd be interested in things like animals, and the animals would love you as much as you love them, and you might just meet the right person to kind of get into the field by going somewhere like a shelter as a volunteer, just to kind of feel like you're almost like you're doing work, even though it's not paying you. It is doing work because those animals need the love.
Yeah. That's true. Definitely true.
All right. Well, we're going to move on to the next caller. Thanks for calling in. And
all right.
I'll see you soon. All right.
Thank you, Kelly.
Of course.
It's been a pleasure.
All right. I'm going to try calling Lonnie again because she didn't answer before, and then she's going to be the last one.
Cool. Looking for answers. A lot of people.
Oh, yeah. And, so there's so many answers they give me, but it could be
so I'll have to ask you about those. We're seeing some visual stuff with the tarot cards, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's kind of like an aid to help me, where it's more tactile, and then I just kind of.
Your call has been forwarded to an automated voice messaging system.
That's okay. I contacted her this morning about reminding her about the show, but on the weekend people get so busy. She probably forgot, which is fine. I'll just contact her soon with all of that. But yeah, so.
But that was great. That was interesting
Thank
to
you.
get. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I mean, all the same kind of things. So not even. I mean, well, you did kind of get in touch with some spirit there for somebody there, right? But then also some of it was just sort of like like a guidance thing, like a counseling thing.
Yeah,
like, hey,
well, and
try
that's a
this.
lot of what they do. Because spirit doesn't need their own guidance. They're just existing out there, and by us asking for their help is good for them because it helps them with their own karma. If in their life they could have had better karma, by helping us in our lives is helping them because it's getting their vibration to a place where they're feeling more good karma, and they're there to help. They don't get tired. We get tired. our bodies get tired, but they're a spirit. They love to help. And as they watch us live our lives, and that when we ask for help, that it's just, it can't be bad. Because especially, well, I don't want to say it can't be bad, but you got to make sure you go to a medium that knows what they're doing, that knows how to communicate spirit, that, like I said in my prayers at the beginning, serving your highest and best, only things of the light. You know, there's a lot of prayer involved to get good intuitive guidance. Mm-hmm. And so there's a lot to it.
So there is that spiritual component of your own as an individual who also then happens to be a medium. Right,
yeah.
That's
kind
of
true.
part
and,
of it.
Yeah, and that, actually, when I was taking a lot of my mediumship training, that was a lot of what they were telling me. You know, mediums that have been doing it for years, typically those people are also empathic. So you want to do a lot of clearing. You want to stay healthy. You want to make sure that your routine is good, so you're feeling good, and because you're channeling energy in and out of you, and you never know what kind of person is going to come to you for your service, and you have to be ready to read their energy, handle their spirits, and there can be anyone around them.
Right. So don't be a jerk. Yeah. Basically, don't have this ability, and then don't be in tune in that way. But then sort of a jerk, I guess.
Yeah, and a lot of
socially
that,
almost, you know.
Yeah, I've been told is very.
You have sort of a
ego-based.
graceful way of handling it. Anyway,
yeah, well, I also was told by one of the first mediums, actually the one that I told you that led the spirit circle. She was the first one that I reached out to, and then I, came across many, many teachers along the way. And it's been years now that I've been doing this. That she said, as you grow as a medium, make sure that you harness your ego, because your ego will also grow because you're becoming so intensely present that your ego can take over.
Well, right. If you have a more narcissistic person, well, all these people are coming to me. I have the answers.
Thinking like you are a god or something like that, and that can be an ugly.
Good. That'd be a typical.
Not in a judgmental sense, but that can be an ugly medium. Like they're almost micromanaging you.
Well,
and
then
you what to do, where they're just there to help you, but you don't have to do what I'm saying.
When then you have kind of fame hungry people too. It's kind of like a chicken or the egg thing. It's for, like you said, the ego. Or
right, people that
yeah.
find out that people will pay a lot for mediumship. Like you were bringing up that guy earlier. It's just not. He's a fake. Like it's not even. He's not even really doing it.
Yeah.
And it is what it is. There's all kinds of people in this world, and like I said, without the judgment, like I'm not here to judge him. It's like if you're a fake, eventually people are going to find out it's not going to work. But if you're proven people, like I've had many, many clients where it gets really personal and they'll like start crying and stuff because it's so real that I'm not even doing it like, yeah, see, I'm real. Like, I'm like, yeah, this is so beautiful. Like, I'm so happy that I can do this for you because it's what you want. And, and it is what it is. And I'm happy to do it because I like to do it.
Mm-hmm. I think to, people sort of laying it all on the line too, and I think calling in with that, and I think it's kind of in tune with some of the themes I found talking to creative people or sort of people who were kind of outside the box.
I just unplugged my phone so I can tell Lonnie that I'll just read for her another time.
If I knew I could have turned it down, that's okay.
Sorry, my bad. I didn't realize it was going to make a sound. I'm not a radio person. I'm just a spirit person.
That's right. Coming together, collaborating. That's something I like to do here too. But I think sort of like trying to connect with people, trying to reach out, people who are checking in with you or looking for that connection, looking for the answers, having trouble. And I think for you to have gone through your own struggle, like you said, losing your parents and stuff, and other things, you turn other creative things for people who can't see. You've got it's like a purple and a pink kind of hair. Is that what do you call it? It's like you got the dyed hair.
An ombre.
Yeah, you get the purple aura in your hair and in your heart as well.
Oh, that's so beautiful. Well, it's funny you say that. I actually, I know another medium that I saw earlier this week, and a lot of what people will call like synchronicities or whatever will happen among like other spiritualists that I run into, and she just dyed her hair purple recently, and we hadn't seen each other. Like, we didn't plan this. And she's like, yeah, you know, it's just the time, the fall's coming. And it's kind of like when people talk about chakras and the different colors that they are, that your crown chakra is purple. So she's like bringing all the energy into the crown, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, totally why I did it. Like, no, I just love purple. But I think she was saying like a lot of mediums and stuff like that tend to be attracted to purple because they do so much work with spirit, which it comes received through your crown. And it just makes sense on a subconscious level or whatever you want to call it. But I just love being surrounded by purple because it makes me feel safe. And
so why is that? Where did that
well,
start?
it also kind of is inspired with me through actually some of the things that growing up I learned in the Catholic Church that during like Lent and things like that, there's a lot.
So were you raised Catholic?
Yeah, I was raised Catholic. So it's interesting because a lot of people that, you know, they choose this path, like different it's funny, I'm saying Catholic and then I'm seeing it right there on your Jay and Silent Bob. That word popped out.
Oh, does he say I was raised Catholic?
Yeah, I think that's what he said. That's really
in the
really
Chasing Amy thing.
out. Yeah,
he's talking about that his girlfriend had all a large sexual history, I think, and this is news to me. I was raised Catholic. For God's sake.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's
the
awesome.
Chasing Amy speech, that poster.
That's so crazy.
That jumped out at you. Is that spirit?
Yeah, a lot of that.
I guess
like I said, synchronicities will
Yeah.
happen. And it does when you give
the
acknowledgement to your synchronicities, they'll happen more and more, and then it can help with the clarification that what you're thinking is actually what's going on. That I don't want to say the Catholic Church is bad because
it's like the third eye.
The third eye, yeah. And so when I, you know, different people in my family receive it like as if I'm doing something dark or I'm doing something that is not good because that's the way certain religions will portray it.
Right. Dark forces.
Yeah, like you're talking to, you know, the devil.
A friend of mine was raised a Jehovah's Witness, and when he was a little kid, Ghostbusters again was his favorite film. And
that's totally what you want. You'd be doing some Ghostbusters stuff.
Ghostbusters and Godzilla. It's my buddy Lawrence Holly who used to co-host this show. He'll get a kick out of that. It was it's dark forces, demonic, and they're trying to say no, Mom, it's it's fun, it's funny, you know, and
yeah,
it's
totally.
and popular media.
Yeah, I think
stuff is always at odds
as
with some of
religion, as you know, as we evolve as humanity, and like as religion evolves, it's like anything. I feel like that it seems like a pattern. Like anything that's different is the devil. Like jazz is the devil. Like everything.
Right.
You know?
So you're like
anything that's like not going to church. Like and I don't mean to make the church sound bad, but it's like it's just. It is what it is, and it's not
the
for
first.
everyone.
It's not the first time that a guest here has kind of picked apart the Catholic Church, you know, or you know.
I know. I love that.
In childhood,
that Mary's a theology major, and you know, she studied all of
covered
it.
in tattoos. And
yeah, exactly. And she was actually interested in a lot of what I was doing, and I did my own circle.
Well, she's like a.
And she came to it.
She's a believer.
She was interested in trying to try it out. You know, because if you can learn to heal yourself, it's an amazing gift. And she's like, I can feel it. Like I said, I'm really starting to be a believer. And you know, and you know, you'd assume that since she's a theology major, she's going to go
that she'd be a skeptic,
right, or a nun, or
like this isn't in the Bible. So.
But she really just wants to seek out understanding and knowledge, which is really, really honorable. Where she does think outside the box because she's so intelligent that she knows that anything's possible, and you can't just be closed-minded like that. Mm-hmm. I mean, and you know, and if people are, that's their thing, and it's not my place. That's what I always say. It's not my place to make everyone a believer, because then at that point, I'm micromanaging people's beliefs, and that's against what I believe in.
Which is like some forms of religion will be, we must convert you. It's not enough that we are just
my service
ourselves.
is here. If you want it, that's great, and if you don't, I don't really care. Like, it's not my basic 9 to 5 right now, so it's not like I'm going to be suffering if I don't get your service. But if you do, it's pretty awesome. Mm-hmm. Like I do like mediumship parties and stuff like that, and it's really fun. Mm-hmm. It's spooky, so that's why I'm kind of trying to get it out there for the Halloween season. People, like we're having a seance, you know.
Are we gonna do that later? Like,
sure, we can creepy. Do that. Yeah, whatever. Dude.
Can you do all that?
I can. And it does sound creepy, like, and it's cool.
No, so let's talk about these. Well, first, I guess you said, did you say healed by spirit?
Yeah. So yeah.
So what does that mean?
Well, I guess it just makes me think of, since we're talking about the Catholic Church, I don't know if you've ever been to a healing mass.
I don't know.
Where they like put their hand on the person and they fall down,
right,
like...
which is that's kind of whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. No.
It's
but,
what my doctors couldn't fix. I'll put a hand on you, right?
Yeah.
And then that's sort of its own ego trip too, right? Because then
Right.
it'll be I don't know, is it the priest or whoever whoever who's this healer?
Well, and the thing is, some people
they've
will
been
say,
anointed, right?
Some people will say it's a placebo and that's what healed them. And whatever it is, it's not my place to prove that it is or it isn't a placebo. But if I can help guide you in what would be a placebo, as long as you're healed and you get better, that's all that really matters.
Well, that's what I was gonna say too. For somebody who if you're still kind of a skeptic. One of the things I got out of just doing those phone calls is that it doesn't really, not to question how in touch you are, but it's almost like at the end of the day, it's like if those people get off the phone and they have a plan then, or they feel better, or they feel like there's some closure there for them, and they feel better, then in a world where people commit suicide and get into, like you mentioned, addiction and depression and things like that. Not to say that that's a cure all. Again, I like it too how you say, hey, like to one of the callers, like don't feel that's what family's there for, and and to reach out and stuff. But to be a third party and to kind of be able to say that, and I think.
Well, yeah. Well, also the thing is, sometimes it's hard for people to differentiate the difference between things that I'm saying as if I'm actually giving the guidance. Like that would hurt.
It's almost probably just confirming.
Yeah,
what they
collective
may already
energy
know,
coming off of her family was kind of guiding me to say that in clarification of them, because a lot of people will be afraid to reach out to their families for help because they think like they're being a user or something like that. But not to judge her reading, but she's already got her schedule filled. Like she's making as much money as she can, and that's great, and that's extremely honorable. She's not just like sitting around feeling entitled looking for handouts. Like she's looking for help where she's a little overwhelmed, and everyone goes through that. I don't know anybody that has never asked their family for help. It's okay.
So it's that on top of the mystery of I like when you go through that the first caller where they're saying, hey, I'm feeling I'm bummed because it's the anniversary of my grandmother's death and stuff, and again, that's something that in your case, if you can actually get in touch with that spirit and kind of confirm, hey, like they're doing okay, or hey, like that's great as well. But even if not, if you can say, just be encouraging or be just that positive energy that you have.
Yeah, it was funny how spirit works, because in that reading the other grandmother came through, but I think it was because if her grandmother that passed away on this anniversary came through, it might have been a little emotional. And then also she would have wanted like further discussion and things like that. So to because I don't choose who comes through. You can pray for a certain spirit to come through, but there's no guarantee which one's going to pop up. So by the other one coming through, she was more helping her with the emotion of the other one passing.
So then there's other relatives,
things
like that come through.
Yeah.
So was it her other?
It was her other grandmother that came through that also existed in spirit. But I think because sometimes once I'm done with the reading, it just leaves my mind. But by going back, it's kind of nice to see like what I actually just channeled. That her grandmother was a very funny person. So by the benefit of laughter and remembering that positive thing, it helps her deal with the tragedy, which we all go through, like almost like it reopens the wound every year.
That's something that.
So it's something that kind of more, instead of seeking talking, would still make her miss her. Knowing the other one and how funny she was kind of flipped her emotions. And it was helpful.
Yeah, without sort of knowing beforehand, you can kind of
You can
tap
feel
into
it.
that.
Well, yeah, that's another thing. Another,
the person
I
on the
guess you would
line.
call a psychic sense, like your sense of intuition, your sense of like audio. Some people are like nasal, like you can smell a certain smell associated with a spirit, and then you talk about it. Then that gives clarification of who you're talking to, because that's one of the
And
things
that can
that
cue it in for them. They can say,
Yeah.
"Oh, that's my
Yeah,
uncle or
that's what
something."
a medium will do. They'll be like, "Oh, this person's showing me themselves with a certain color hair, or I smell a certain smell, or did they have pain? Like I'll feel a phantom pain as if it's my own, but they're giving me the sense of intuition. I know this isn't me being in pain. They're giving me this pain to help define to the person who this person is."
So what did you like in that first one? If you remember, like what do you experience then that kind of cues you in?
The thing I experienced with that particular spirit, I didn't feel anything. It was all visual. I was seeing a woman, a woman with curly white hair and a white sweater. She didn't say anything. She didn't give me anything. She wanted me to start with that. And she hit the nail on the head, and that's when she started laughing, and because she wasn't talking at first, because they'll keep giving you more like clues, I guess, like playing the game of like guess who, to tell who it is, and if they don't get it right away, they'll say how they died, and things that can get a little emotional. They're like, "Whoa, like how did you know that person commit suicide?" It's like I don't know that. They told me.
I imagine it could be pretty intense.
Yeah, it can.
And you got to give them credit too, doing something like this and kind of laying it out there. Something that's can be a personal thing.
Yeah, and it can be, and it's interesting too because I always love the way, like, kind of, I guess you would call spirits.
Whether or not
style.
I think whether or not, like, if someone's listening and they're a skeptic, it's like I have plenty of people who are like won't even call in just to talk about regular stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
it
to
is
be able
pretty far
to be
out stuff.
to be able to come on and kind of lay it bare, like, oh yeah, I have this.
I'm used to it. It's
relative
interesting.
that's gone.
My spirit, when I first started going down the mediumship path, my mother said in spirit, the reason why you're particularly going down this path is because you're already used to judgment because you grew up as a goth. You've constantly been judged. Like, you're weird. Now
Let's
you're
talk
even
about
weirder.
that. Can you say what did you say before? You thought because I have a lot of weird. Like I said at the top, weird is not necessarily a bad thing always. Right?
Yeah, they notice, like, I guess, like, I called it, like, people of alternative culture, like, people that do something different, but it's beautiful and it's cool, and you like to kind of ask people, like, pick their brain and see why they chose this, and I just think it's a really good place for me to kind of spill my guts out to you, and thanks for having me on here.
Yeah. So you grew up as a goth. So goth Catholic? And
yeah, that's why
rebelled?
I feel like I related to Mary so much because she's younger than me, and when I first met her, when she first started dating Chris, I'm like, I like felt like you remind me of myself when I was your age, like, it's so like you're like the other one, but it's just who you are, and you can't stop like loving yourself for who you are, no matter what your family's doing. And it's interesting because I constantly, excuse me,
covered in tattoos, and she always has the crucifix on around her
so
neck.
it doesn't mean she's not like believing in God, like,
and she
like
went
you said,
to
there's
school
all
for
the
theology.
stigma. Like, and it's like just because she's covered in tattoos, it's because she loves art, and it's like in a world where religion is so powerful, and people love religion so much, what they should be getting out of it, which I'm not going to try to micromanage them and hope that they do, but you'd think that they would be more loving and open to all kinds of people, tattoos, whatever. It's like it's about God, like, not about what you look like. But it is what it is,
right? Gay, straight,
totally,
all that, any colors. But it's part of the old ways.
Yeah, and we're moving on past that too, which is really cool. The Catholic Church that I grew up going to in Stoughton, Mass, actually is very open to the gay youth and wanting them to feel like they're God's children. It was really awesome to see because they're a Catholic church where, unfortunately, typically they're not really so open to that, and like they would even like have children of other faiths come in, like teenagers and stuff, and talk about their faith and realizing we're all equals. There's no right or wrong religion. And I was like, wow, that's amazing.
So that was a Catholic. What do they call those? There's a church that's very sort of like is it like a non-denominational church that will.
Well, that one wasn't non-denominational. Yeah. That one was a Catholic church. They were just I guess a group of priests that were open to just being like God's children. We love everyone, and we just want, especially teenagers that can get into trouble and drugs and things like that, to have a place where they can just come and celebrate their faith and not feel judged. that was just really cool to have that as a place to go growing up, where they would.
So you went to that?
I did go to that church, and like they had like like a teenager program, like dances and like things that weren't getting into too much trouble or whatever, where your parents would still force you to go there because it's church. But the fact that they would be non-biased to get kids in there and just was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. So, but then are you still not? Do you consider yourself a Catholic now? Or
I never became confirmed as Catholic. I do appreciate Catholic Church, because I just keep seeking out churches like that are kind of open, and I'm there to feel good. I'm there to, feel the light of God, or what do you want to call it? Feel peaceful. It's like, it should be a healing experience.
I think that's what people are, and it should be a unifying thing, and a sanctuary. Yeah, when you're feeling sort of looking for that something.
But I don't feel like I need to, read a certain amount of the Bible or say this
it's
many
the
prayers.
Dogma.
I'm coming up with the quota. Like I don't personally believe that, but that's where I kind of draw the line, so I don't become confirmed, because I feel like I would have to owe something to the church as a person that goes there to kind of prove myself worthy, which that's just not what I believe in. So I've gone to lots of different churches, like, I'm interested in Massachusetts somewhere. One of my coworkers was telling me about a Ganesha temple, where they worship Ganesha in that faith, and I would love to go check that out. And like, there's religions around all different ascended masters, and I don't consider one more important than another, or one is good and one is bad. It's like all of the religions that are built around ascended masters, including Jesus, is all about treating people equal. That's just. It's cool that, that's just kind of what we should all be getting out of it, but it's not my place to tell people that's what they should do, but that's what I get out of it, so.
Right, and I feel like some of that is interesting, studying that, but like you say, I feel like you can also kind of arrive at that on your own.
Totally. And you don't really need a priest to tell you that, but hopefully that's the message they're delivering.
So let's check out some of these.
My cards?
I guess describe some of the cards and
sure.
What do they do for you?
So this is the Goddess Oracle deck. Every person that reads cards has their own style. I don't strictly read tarot, or like I'm not just a card reader, since like I'm a really, I guess what you would call gifted. Like I should just say I'm a really gifted medium. I'm a very strong channel with spirit, where I typically don't even need cards, but in my busy life, like my brain can be tired, so I can get a little bit of a fog in the reading. So this is a tool where I will pull a card, and then I work with it off of my intuition, kind of deciphering why this card is relevant to what you're asking.
So what does that say for people?
This one says the moon. I'm actually pulling this one for you.
Oh God! I was gonna go there, like maybe like toward the end. I'm like, let's find a relative.
So you've been really working on strengthening yourself in your different passions, and you've been kind of praying for an opportunity where it's going to be placed. Does that seem accurate?
Yeah, sure.
Keep your prayers strong.
There's
I know I'm like looking at you. Sorry. Keep your prayers strong. This card showing that all the things that you're due are your passions, and it's the reason why you've been seeking them out. It's why you have so much fun with it, and you deserve to have fun and get work at the same time. So keep your eyes open to who you're meeting. That you're talking to the right people.
Such as yourself?
To me. You're going to be working with me. No.
Right. Take this on the road.
Yeah.
This will be your pilot, right? You'll be on some... All
right. So then I pulled another card for you, if you don't mind. The sun. So you're getting the moon and the sun. The moon is more like, giving and receiving energy in prayer. And the sun is harnessing your own internal energy and feeling powerful. Valuing yourself through all of your, creative trades. And fun self, for empowerment, for self-confidence, for feeling cool, for liking yourself, for attracting others that see you in the same way that you see yourself. Stay solid, stay vibrant, because you are, an exciting, fun person, and keep that strong, because you deserve to feel that way about yourself.
It's good for my ego.
Yeah, the ego. I'm not trying to say the ego is bad. Like, the ego serves its purpose to make us feel good, but it's when your ego gets out of control is when it's bad.
No, I definitely. I mean, I walk between two worlds with like this stuff, because my ego is like I'll do something like this in a way where it's I'll host it almost out of necessity because it's like hey, you know, to anyone listening, it's like what's this cool thing you think about that you wish existed but no one's done before? It's like you're gonna have to be the one to go and do that and manifest that.
Yeah, and you're the one making it a thing. Like you have to be able to like not be afraid to be different because people like things are different, but they can receive it in all different ways, and you got to be ready to maybe somebody won't like it so much, and that's
Right.
okay. It's like a chef. Not everyone's gonna love the food you make. They're gonna go to another restaurant, but it doesn't mean your food's bad. It's just not for them.
I think for me though, as far as like ego, it's about the context. I can do something like this, but then I think I tend to kind of get overwhelmed in like big group like settings and stuff, where I'll be that guy who doesn't really speak up, and then I think, wait, but I'm the guy who, you know, does a 3-hour talk show and does this and does you know, and I can get on camera and do this, and then like other times.
Well,
You know,
with saying that, I'm getting a lot of the energy around, like I'm seeing you at school and seeking out all of the personal knowledge so you don't need assistance, that you can be running your own show. It's just having the financial means of that means you have to have a lot of equipment, and you have to, you know, you may need to be able to pay somebody like the little man helping you out that you could be doing your own show because you know how.
Well, on both ends, yeah, because you have to, right? I mean, yeah.
Well, I mean, like they're saying that the energy that you put into it with all the knowledge of what you have, that if you really want to be big with it, that you can, because you have it in you.
No, I mean, I know, of course. That's why I'm here. I mean, no, but like that's the thing. I mean, with any kind of you have to put yourself out there, but that's why, like for me as a kid, I think my family was Catholic, but I wasn't really raised Catholic. But I remember as being, I don't know why I mentioned that too, but I think
spirit can make your mind really start
when I'm
going.
a
And
little
you're trying to like
kid-
have a show at the same time, so you don't want to get too far out. Like
when I'm, but the thing I always say is I remember being a little kid and we had one of those tape decks, and I used to record myself on the tape deck. And so, like, one of my things, and the things with this is, like, I always liked, and I used to kind of, I'm always fighting, like, being shy, I think, and I think it's, my upbringing was, you know, lots of, like, mental health issues in my family, single mom, stuff like that, and, so always sort of, like, fighting, and then you have, like, family stuff where a lot of people in my family are musicians, so kind of creative, but still, you know, not, like totally. I have another relative that does sort of media stuff, but more like commercial stuff, corporate.
yeah, it's about
stuff.
like finding a job in it, like what would sustain you,
And,
but you're still like.
Well, I think I'm just talking about sort of my
Like your
trying to
blood.
keep my morale up about, like I think as a kid I gravitated toward the fantasy of like, you know, I imagine myself having like being on TV, having a show, and then
Oh yeah, I really get
myself.
that off of you. Like it's the way you present yourself, you can tell like you're.
I
like,
don't know.
like your
we
own
don't
little
need
personal rock
we
star.
need spirit. Well, I'm just talking. I'm just thinking. Yeah, I just like always had that thing, and you know, there's probably somebody out there, especially back in the day before stuff like the internet or something. There was probably that guy who just documented himself or friends or whoever, and just somewhere has, you know, stacks and stacks of tapes, and that guy is me. No, there's that guy out there,
like a journalist or
who
something.
there's somebody out there who didn't put it out there like at all.
Right.
Because they're just, I think I just gravitated toward it as a kid. I think a lot of people, I have a few artist friends who I think they're like a little bit more. They think of themselves. I have kind of friends who or people I've worked with who are on sort of the two ends of the spectrum, where you have those people who will be really good at drawing and stuff, but they won't really put themselves out there, or they tried to do it more and they had a bad experience working with people, and their ego is, you know, they have a small amount of. They're not putting themselves. They're trying to. They do good work, but they're hiding it. You know. And then I have other friends who, the way I mark whether or not sort of that quest for fame and that part of it is
Well, yeah,
good or bad is
sure.
when you do it at the expense of other people, when you start getting into like fighting with people because that battle of egos and stuff.
Right. Well, yeah, that can be a challenge, and like, you know, and especially when we're artists, like I'm friends with a lot of artists as well. Like we can be our own biggest critic, and like, you know, what we try so hard on, we want to perfect, and then people start telling us like, wow, you could really be going on the road with that. Like you're doing so
you
well.
Do this, you gotta do this.
But you don't,
Can
you don't see. You don't see the same value because you've always been doing it. You don't even realize like how valuable it actually is. But you know, just put it out there and see what people think. You never know. You know, what you think is not your 100%. Like they'll still love it anyway.
Mm-hmm. Well, especially with something like podcasting, it's to me it's just a conversation, and I like in honoring to kind of not always put myself so at center stage, to honor other people, have guests in and other people that I can document. My point is just I think it's something I would be doing anyway. And then I think with stuff like social media, I think there is something fun about putting it out there and kind of promoting yourself and stuff. And I think, you know, at the same time, I do like privacy, and I just kind of like on some level being under the radar. But at the same time, like as you say, it's sort of just being in the right place, right time, maybe traveling. My friend Lawrence is out in LA and stuff. It's about sticking true to yourself, but still, to me, it's just making a document and putting it out there. And if you want to check it out, you can. And if you don't, I think some people, there's a couple people I know, you kind of like will put like what you were saying, put anything out there, and it's like a Rorschach test. I mean, some people will love it, and some people will look down on that, and I think, you know, it's
not to keep going back to your reading, but it's funny that
you say that.
But when you said the right place, right time thing, that's a lot of what I was getting off of your reading. That since you do, you know, associate with a lot of different people, and you do travel, that to keep your eyes open, because you are going to meet the right, like someone that's going to help you get where you want to be, because they're that person, and you just happen to run into them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what you have to do, is keep it going, keeping out. I'm thinking of going out, seeing my friend out there and around my birthday at the end of the month.
Nice.
So, and it is about meeting people, and I'm a fan of this stuff too. I sit back in awe, and your stuff, and all of it. You know, that's why I have who I have on, and
I've been following your show. You have some pretty cool stuff on here. Mm-hmm. I feel humbled to be able to be part of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we got my buddy. I'm going through all these old photos and stuff, and I put them up on Instagram and stuff. My buddy John Hartman, who's been making a film on all VHS that Mary was also a part of, and he was somebody who submitted to our Experimental Eel Film Festival that I did with my friend Lawrence, and that's how we met him, and then we ended up being in his movies, and he's been on here a bunch of times. I feel humbled to, like, my point is just like, I'm a fan of it, and then, you know, anything that can kind of blow your mind, whether it's like a Hollywood thing or not, that's kind of like what I'm in search of.
Well, and I really love that, because you know, both of my brothers are involved in like you know, movies, and like I just had a client that he became my friend. He's in like the Actors Guild, and you know, all of those union stuff, that he's, you know, working with different actors and movie producers and things all the time. And like, if you can get past like the intimidation and seeing them like as a star, and they're just a person, and then you're like starting to work with them and stuff, you know, you can get so far in it that I think a lot of people think that like it's only for certain people, or like special people, or
it's just for the talented people.
Yeah, but anybody can be doing it. It's because they're following their heart is what made them big.
Mm-hmm. Right. That's one of the reasons I'm a big fan of like Kevin Smith doing Clerks when he was a convenience store clerk, you know, and making the film After Hours and stuff, which kind of led to the whole thing.
I never knew that. That's really cool.
Yeah. And use your resources, use what you have. You know, to like, we have a convenience store, let's use it. Our buddy John is, I think, to me, known for, you know, he won't always have a tight script, but he his quote is he'll get awesome people together in an awesome location, and then it will kind of...
Oh, she wasn't near the phone when I called her.
Oh, he's got the third eye thing going on, too. He refers to it as third eye filmmaking.
You don't want to try calling Lonnie?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, I'll plug it back in.
Sure. Oh, let me, yeah, okay, that's turned down. So we're going to get her on. And, you can do your thing.
Yeah, see, people, in their busy lives, even though it was something, that she just forgot.
Hello?
Hi, Lonnie.
Hi, Kelly, what's up?
Not much. I actually have you on the air. I had a feeling you might have forgot or had your phone somewhere, but we already finished the other callers. So do you wanna do yours now?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Well, you're on the air. I have my cards here, and I'm gonna pull a couple cards for you based off what's been on your mind and stuff like that. And then if some spirit comes through, I'll include them in the reading as well. So what's been on your mind?
Hello?
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
What's been on your mind lately? What's going on?
So, I want to go to school. I want to pursue an art career. And I'm kind of just at a crossroads, and I'm hopeful, but still undecisive.
So you're kind of wondering what you should do next?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to pull some cards on that, okay? I'm getting better at talking at the microphone instead of next to it, looking at Mike.
All right.
Where'd you find it? My friend.
You can move it around, too.
I know. I've never been on a radio show before, so I'm not the best at this. All right, so I'm seeing that are there a lot of maybe artist groups or festivals where you can be presenting your art in your community? Around you? Do you have opportunities for things like that?
Around me? Around me? Kind of.
Well, I'm seeing, because I'm kind of seeing a work, maybe want ads, but not literally want ads. We don't really do that anymore, but maybe Facebook events or different things where they, as a vendor, presenting your art. Do you have art that you're interested in presenting, for sale?
I definitely am doing that, yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting definitely a big pull in keeping up with that, because the more you get out there, the more people will see it and they'll start to follow you, because it's just about getting the exposure.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and not to be afraid that if you get some criticism for, everybody has a different style. Not everyone's going to love everyone's art just because they want them to, but that you gotta be able to keep it going and keep it with your style because you love yourself. And I mean, as a friend and as knowing you do love yourself, and you do have a lot of amazing energy, and you don't let, judgment control you. But, if people are whatever, saying your work's not good or whatever like that, it doesn't matter because somebody else will love it.
That's true.
And in the other card that came up is also that you already know that this is true, but that it's just clarification that keep it up because you do great work, and some people will really, really love it because you kind of have a healing element to your art.
Thank you.
Is that true?
I've been told before, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's kind of what they're saying is that people can really feel that in your art, where it kind of, if they're putting it in a place where they like things like meditation or a calm space, that it adds to that vibe, and they really appreciate it, and that's something very valuable to keep it out there, because with that kind of stuff, it's just about actually on the show before calling you, we were talking about being in the right place at the right time, and by vending and reaching out all over the place, that the right person at the right time is going to see your art, and it's going to be exactly what they needed. It's just about patience. Yeah, so I'm really feeling a pull on art, because I know you really love making art, and keep it up because you're going to be doing really well with it.
Thank you.
Is there anything else that's been on your mind?
That was pretty much the gist of it.
Sure, and I'm not sure if it's a dog that I was channeling earlier, but is there a brown dog? Sometimes spirit sticks around, and I can't figure out who it's for.
A what?
A brown dog that was in your life at some point?
Rocky?
Yeah. He is getting very excited by you saying that, the clarification of acknowledging who he is. He's jumping all around. Is this a dog that you used to own?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He passed away.
Yeah, he's licking your face and he knows that you miss him so much.
Oh.
And he says that you're a really good dog, mommy. Yeah, I know. He's sharing a little bit of your emotion with me, and I can tell that you loved him so much, and it's
That's
and it's
so
hard.
amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, but he says that you love dogs so much that any dog that's in your life, you'll be able to feel that love because dogs understand they love you as much as you love them.
Yes.
Even if it's other people's dogs.
Yes, thank you, Kelly.
Of course. Thanks for calling in. It was a pleasure reading for you, and I'll see you soon.
See you soon.
Bye.
Oh man, I was holding it together until we brought up the deceased dog, and then I remembered our family dog that.
Yeah, sometimes it can get a little emotional, especially when, Spirit catches us off guard like that, where she didn't, she probably wasn't expecting that dog was going to come through, but it did, make her feel good that the dog had a good message for her that kind of, it helps you move on. A spirit does that a lot. They like to help you move forward with grief by kind of giving you a message of closure.
Yeah, and then also the coincidence, or was it a coincidence that she brings up kind of pursuing artistic stuff, and I think in kind of the quest to get it out there. People who kind of question that is, are you just doing it for fame? And it's like, to me, it's about leaving something behind too. And I one of the people I look up to, Henry Rollins from the band Black Flag. He's also a great writer and a spoken word performer, a storyteller. His thing was a quote from him that's floating around that I made me think of is that it'll destroy you if you try to make it mean anything to anyone but yourself. Meaning those people. I've worked with some people who, at the expense of friends, at the expense of relationships and other things, will just beat that hammer to try to get that, I think you want to get your what you've created out there too. But I think when it does sort of become, I must become this thing by this point, I must reach this level of fame when, like you say, not everyone, some things are just going to be for a smaller audience.
Yeah, but it's still valuable. Like, it reminds me of like underground music scenes and stuff like that. Like, just because they're not big and famous doesn't mean they're not valuable, because the local people that go to that every show every week or whatever, they love it because of the unity and the local, and they don't want something huge, but it's still valuable music. And there's a lot of movements like support the local underground, like support your local musicians, things like that, because it gives them a following, and it's good. Like, I'm not exactly sure exactly how to word it, but that, like you said, like it's on small scale, it's still if they stop playing every week, they'd be like, what are you doing? Like, why are you leaving me? And it's valuable because it has even a small following, because it brings people peace of mind.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think as far as the peace of mind thing, for me, it's about, like, with something like this, you record a conversation. It's kind of making a document, because I think everyone seems to take photographs when you think of like a lost loved one and stuff. And I think one of the things you want to hear, and I think really the sad thing is, I think one of the things that you start to forget is, I remember, is that something they say anyway, but you start to forget the person's voice. I think to be totally right in somebody's ear. And my grandmother, who passed away a couple of years ago, and to me it was like a dramatic movie of its own, because I I took a road trip with my filmmaker friends and my best friend who moved out to the Los Angeles area, and we took the road trip, and right before I was able to get back, my grandmother got sick really fast and she passed away. And I think one of the things for me is to, like, my mother's been on here a couple of times. I'll ask her some stuff. Occasionally I'll take a left turn and you do something like that. Part of it is to honor the creative people I know, and then also you have bigger people, people you idolize, whatever. You try to get those people, but I think the people you really are going to look back on, as far as if you do something like this, of course with photos and stuff, but it's the voice too, almost more than video, because it's so much more intimate. You're going to look back and, like, God forbid something happens to somebody, you got it. You got that. You got the voice, and then you got conversation. So
yeah,
something
and
to
relate it to my own experience with the mediumship thing is that the voice, like what that really clicked with me. You said you forget the sound of their voice, and I did kind of and it's amazing that can even happen, because I mean, I had my mother till I was 19 years old. You wouldn't think the sound of the voice would go away, but it just, with time, anything can fade. It doesn't matter. That being able to be a channel and doing this practice, being able to channel both of my parents has been an amazing thing, because for me, I don't want to say it's clarification, but it's comforting that I can hear the sound of my mother's voice, so I don't forget it. And I guess, yes, it does give me clarification, because I immediately, as if I remember again, it's there, and then I could talk to her. And I've had all kinds of crazy things where, like on Christmas, or different, what people would call triggers. Oh, I have Christmas without them. Oh no, it's so terrible. Where I had this supernatural experience where both of my parents came to me in spirit, which when they were alive, they were divorced, but they were together and they were not fighting because they're in spirit, which was beautiful. And they were giving me these visuals of as if we are trading gifts, but they were not limited by the material world. And they were showing me like a field of teddy bears falling from the sky and all of these silly things that it doesn't matter because I'm the only one seeing it. But it just brought me this amazing, entertaining joy where it was like, oh, that was so cool. Like, this could be like a supernatural tradition where I don't even miss them right now. Like, this is amazing. Like, they did, it like was like a spirit gift, and it was really, really cool. And by being a medium, I could do that, and it helped me deal with my grief, where I wasn't like dreading Christmas coming because I didn't want to re-feel grief again. It was cool.
So when you say supernatural experience, so is that, how do you define that as far as like, is what you're seeing, is that actually happening? Is it happening for you?
I call it supernatural because it's like, using my intuitive gifts, and sometimes I just use the vocabulary that society uses for it, that like, it's like, I call it supernatural because it would be considered supernatural because it's, I'm channeling spirit and they're using my mind's eye and showing me something visual that's not actually there, that's given to me through spirit. So I guess that would be considered supernatural. But what, I don't know what else to call it.
Yep.
I
got it. So then you were talking about music, and the music culture and stuff. We mentioned your hair, and I know you want to talk about going to raves and stuff?
Well, actually, Lonnie, one of the people that called, and James. James is part of my and it was a total coincidence or whatever, that when I put it out there that I was going to have 5 people do readings, I just had the first 5 people that contacted me, I gave them the reading. And James is from my local Rhode Island crew, a rave crew, and Lonnie's from my New York crew from Zen Company. So I do a lot of vending out in Brooklyn at their raves, and I do really well out there. And as much as I love being a raver, I love the unity and the love for the music and the freedom of self-expression, like, because I'm very self-expressive, like in an unusual, or I don't even know what to call it, like alternative style. Like, I love having rainbow hair. It makes me feel good. So I feel I should be able to do it. And, you know, and typically, like, in the business world and things like that, it could be considered unusual. But in the rave culture, it's, like, awesome. Like, everyone's doing it, and they're dancing, and they're complimenting each other, and they love each other, and, like when they say plur, like, peace, love, unity, and respect, like, that's a huge element in the culture. But then they also have peace, love, unity, respect, and a small r, responsibility, because with the whole, like, you know, clubs and things like that, there can be things like drugs, and people can die, or people can just be stupid and get overhydrated.
Right. I think when people hear rave, I think that's what they
yeah,
think
and
is
it's
that
sad.
excess.
Like they associate it with drugs, and you know, it's really, I feel like there's a lot of drugs in the scene because some people have a hard time opening up and just having a good time, and they think the only way that they can is if they have the excuse that they're messed up. But I mean, and that's their thing. But I've done sober raving
not just
forever.
not just in like a subculture like that, but in the larger culture too, as far as like drinking and smoking and everything.
But it's sad because, you know, people deal with a lot of stress and they have a hard time opening up. But that's one of the things I love about the scene is that when you're actually in it and you give it a chance, like, not that I'm trying to make everybody a raver, but when you get in there, there's not nearly as many drugs as people would think. Like, and it really depends on the scene too. Like, you know, there's like, I guess like people like they would call like rave dad or like things like that. People making sure that the drugs aren't there. Like
a chaperone.
It's giving them a bad vibe. It's making them look bad. Like, you know, and they get him out of there. And you know, people they call him a spunion, like someone that's doing so many drugs they don't even know why they're there anymore. They're just there acting crazy. And you know, and I'm happy that, you know, every crew is different. Both crews that I belong to, the Rhode Island one and the New York one, they're into the unity, they're into the love for the music, and that's what makes them so awesome. That's why, unfortunately, you got to be a little bit selective of who you let be in your crew, because you don't want a drug addict making you look bad.
How do you get in the crew?
That's what everybody wants to know. It's a secret.
For real?
Yeah, for real. That's LPC
Wow.
in Rhode Island. It's a secret. No, it's not like, you know, it's just a joke. It's like,
how many ghosts you have to fight in a lightsaber battle?
And that's just the thing. It's like people feel bad when it has to be so selective, but you can't force somebody to not have too much ego or force somebody to understand that just loves doing drugs or whatever. And you know, you don't need to have 1,000 people in a crew for it to be feeling like a family. And it is, you know, the underground and the love for the music and a lot of the mediumship stuff I relate it to my rave work for my rave fun or whatever, you know, entertainment hobby, that rave work.
Do you make some of the clothes that you got?
I do. I make my own clothes. You know, I'm one of those kind of ravers that they call it raising your vibration, and like your vibration, like the energy you give off, the where your health is at, where your mind is at, that the different practices like meditation, yoga raises your vibration, and raving, dancing to music that I absolutely love, feeling good about my self-expression, and I'm pure in my element, raises my vibration. Where I've had other ravers around me where they're like, yeah, I just feel good being around you, I don't even know why. But I think it's in that kind of sense, it's almost like I'm healing them because I'm giving off so many positive vibes where it just feels so good just to be dancing near each other and loving the music. And it's one of my anti-drugs in a place where there can be drugs, like but you pick and choose your battles, like just because you're there and the drugs are there, like, and I'm not saying they're everywhere, but if you're at a rave where there's some people doing drugs, like, you don't have to do it. You can just be dancing and be like, okay, that's not my thing, please get that out of my face, like, you know, get that out of here.
People might think some of the younger people think they have to get into that.
I know. Well, and that, I feel like unfortunately that has a lot to do with like the new age stuff that's on MTV and all the major celebrities that are doing drugs and making it seem like that's what you need to do to be doing whatever, like, you know, like Miley Cyrus and Madonna when they were like talking like Molly was
sloppy.
They're sloppy. Like, it's like, why? What are you doing? Like, you know,
just make sure someone films me and I'll get my own reality show.
Yeah, that's sad, right? I know it's a distorted culture, like, but that's, you know, where the kids get they get negative influence that they think like that's what the whole scene is. But like, you know, that hasn't been reality shows and things like that. That's not what it originated on. Like, you know, rave culture's been around since the 90s.
And then knowing some people, I think, who work in that, it's called soft scripting. It's a soft script, you know, so reality is kind of not even what you're watching.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's not real. It's
which is its own thing, kind of dissecting the media and stuff. You know, never mind you get the whole the fake news phenomenon, the political spectrum, which I won't get into, but as far as media and stuff, I think alternative media, you know, doing something like this, doing your own show, something you can do now, and to not always take on face value what you see out there, you know.
Yeah, well, it's interesting that you say that, because I when I was a teenager,
for everyone too, always take always, you got to take into account, you know, your own bias and then other people's biases too, you know.
My I took a cartooning class when I was a teenager, that was just it was like available at the library, and my mom signed me up for it, and the teacher was on The Real World, and I was like, wow, that's so cool. I love that show, you know, and like, because I was like super young or whatever, and he's like, you know, it's not real. Like, they take different clips of us doing things and they piece it together and they create this, like, I guess the woman that was like the mean girl, or nobody likes her, she was like a nice person. And they just took all these clips of her flipping out and they pieced them all together and made it look like she's always flipping out, but it was completely just not real at all.
Well, yeah, the thing about that is if you just did a documentary, you need things to happen, you know.
Right.
Conflict drives a story, you know what I mean? So they love those people who will get into that the crazy stuff.
Right. Well, thanks for having me on your show.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Getting a little tired. That's what happens too. Is like when you're.
Does it take something out of you?
Yeah. Because it takes it. You know, it's a brain thing, I think, or whatever. After I guess mentally digesting, like I don't know what to call it. Like when you're taking spirit into yourself, you know, giving the messages and then letting it go, it can be really exhausting. And even though we've only been channeling over an hour, I'm feeling spent.
What about more of my reading?
Maybe next time.
I mean, how do you know, I did have a dream about my grandmother recently that was really like lucid, where I just kind of saw her, but nothing really. It was a creepy.
Sure.
Experience.
But to go on that, I've actually I learned. No, I was only saying that because when I feel like I guess you would call it depleted from reading, I go all over the place with what the points I'm trying to prove. It I'm like falling asleep or whatever. Like I said, I forgot what I was saying. No. Your dream. So it's easy for spirit to come into our dreams. So a lot of times they'll tell me to tell the person to write a note on a piece of paper and to put it under their pillow, because when you're asleep, your ego is gone. Like you're just surrendering and visualizing and experiencing. Where it's when they come through in your dreams, it's an easy way for them to answer your questions or to give you a dream that will give you a feeling that answers your question. So to try that out, if she's been coming through in your dreams, she may be interested in communicating with you that way to help you.
But I can't communicate back, right?
You can. There's no reason why you can't.
Depending on how.
Because you're having a dream. I mean, technically you're communicating.
It was interesting
back.
though, because I haven't really had, like, they call that lucid dreaming, where I was really aware of like being in it. It was only for like a few seconds, maybe a minute, or I know like
you should,
sense of time is kind of skewed.
Play around with it. You should.
But I haven't really had any dreams you know,
that's interesting.
Recently, you know. But that was definitely something like, whoa, what's going
you should try
here?
it out, because you know, she could trigger you to have a dream, if she's, and especially since you said you haven't been dreaming, that maybe you started dreaming about her specifically because she is interested you would in doing what they would call dream work, you know, writing things on your pillow, or just doing a little prayer of, I'm going through this, can you give me a dream that will help me? She may not do it right away because like your mind's so focused on it happening that like you're like almost creating like a block. But then all of a sudden she'll surprise you.
And my thing, as far as like, it was definitely that was one of the craziest things, like where it's it's like over two years ago now.
Yeah.
But
okay.
for me that not the dream. The dream is recent. The dream is maybe a week ago, maybe less. But I was gonna say the experience of going on this road trip, this cross country road trip, like and to Los Angeles, where being interested in movies, like hey, this is like the place for movies. And then also my grandmother was a big supporter of to an extent. I mean, I had some conflicts, but I think overall she was supportive of the TV, movies, doing stuff like that. And also cool about the trip, hey, you're going to get to see a lot of the country and stuff. And then, of course, to her passing away and not being able to get back was definitely something that sat with me, like, for a while, you know.
Yeah, I mean, if I can do a reading for you soon, too. Like, I mean, if you want me to connect with her and talk to her about stuff, like, we could totally do that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's
cool.
It's what I do.
Nice. So where can we find you again? Or
oh, my business Facebook is Purple Aura Love Goddess on Facebook, and you can also add me, Kelly Bear, and on Facebook as well. And I tend to share everything that I put on Purple Aura Love Goddess on my personal Facebook, and it's just for me to get more out there where, you know, I'm all obviously using my Kelly Bear Facebook as a more social thing, but a lot of my friends, they just don't even bother adding my business Facebook because they're already friends with me. So either way, I also go live once a month and I do free mediumship if you're curious.
That's where I first saw that she's doing it like publicly and stuff.
Yep. So it's to kind of get a taster for what it is, for not feeling the pressure of really like needing to make an appointment with me if you're not quite sure what to get out of it. On my Kelly Bear Facebook, I'll be at the beginning of the month, every month between the 1st and the 10th, I'll be going live and doing some mediumship out of Wild Witches. Wild Witches in Providence, Rhode Island, and I'll also be there starting in October. I'm going to be there every weekend, working there and scheduling readings for you to come in, and I can also ship things out of the store. And we sell like a lot of crystals and you know, magical tools, magic spells.
So how does the Reiki crystals, does that help with that, or is that its own?
They're all different modalities. Everybody that, you know, does holistic work, they have the things that they kind of feel work more for them.
So is it kind of an alternative?
Yeah,
alternative medicine kind of
thing. Exactly. We sell a lot of that stuff at Wild Witches too. I can either do a reading for you there, book a reading there, or even just sell you some crystals or some sage. Or, you know, they have all different kinds of things there. Crystals, candles, different herbs for, you know, tinctures. They have everything. They have books. They have books on different holistic practice if you're interested in learning.
What are the crystals typically?
Oh, all different crystals do different things. You know, they're made of different minerals where the theory is that, you know, the pulsation, like the energy that a crystal gives off works with your own pulsation of your body and can shift it slightly to give you a healing sensation by having it on your person. And they figured it out which ones work well for different things, and that's why like they'll write this one's for having a cold, or this one's for you know, whatever it is. This one's for if you feel depressed, or this one's for if you feel confused, because it changes your energy a little bit so your body can.
So have you found that?
Oh yeah, I have all kinds of crystals. Actually, I have a moldavite on me today. And moldavite is actually created when an asteroid comes to Earth. The sand that melts when it comes up turns into moldavite. And I forget where in the world it comes from, but there's only one place in the world that moldavite comes from, so it's usually a little expensive, but it has this very like high vibrational energy that comes off of it. So I don't wear my moldavite all the time because I can feel like I'm in space all the time, but it gives me this very lifting.
So you'll feel that energy.
Yeah, from asteroids.
It takes a specific person to feel that, or is that just
when you're holding a crystal, if you start.
And did you get superpowers?
I did.
From it?
I did. It gives me superpowers now.
Is that?
But yeah, no, I don't know. It honestly, moldavite's probably one of the most powerful crystals I've ever had. When I first started purchasing moldavite, I couldn't even wear it because it was just too much. Like it made me feel dizzy and like nauseous. And then when I put it down, I didn't feel that way anymore. So I used to go off of that to know which crystals I should have. If they made me feel off
What
balance,
What works best for you?
or tingly. It depends on what I'm going through.
Right.
There's no like.
So have you found people with depression? Say you mentioned
Depression. I would really consider like rose quartz or lapis lazuli. Because they bring a lot of love and they focus on your center and feeling centered with yourself and the power of family, the power of reaching out and not feeling alone. Mm-hmm. That can really help you.
So the power of that, or should they should also do that too?
Yeah,
right?
I mean, it gives you the
Yeah.
it opens you up to understanding that more.
Okay.
Where those opportunities will start coming closer to you and you won't feel like you want to just shut down and you'll feel a little boost. Mm-hmm. To kind of get out of that stagnant feeling.
So what the one you have on now?
Moldavite?
What
That's the one that's created when the asteroid hits the sand, and then it's almost like it's like glass.
So what does that specifically do that it's so
Moldavite?
powerful?
Moldavite. It's very different from most crystals. It helps.
You're wearing an asteroid?
Yeah, I am. I'm wearing an asteroid.
Jeez, man.
There's also a crystal that is petrified lightning, where when lightning hits the sand,
That's awesome.
it creates this like tube. It like looks like a piece of coral, and that one's very intense as well. Like if you put it like to your tongue or something, you can like feel a shock, like it's like petrified lightning, and it's like a piece of lightning.
So PSA for the kids. Don't put it in your mouth.
But no, the Moldavite.
Whose job is that to catch the petrified lightning?
I don't know. I'm like, how would they know to go seek out petrified lightning? Like, where would it come
Someone's job is that. Like my grandmother rented a room to a guy, and I remember I don't know if we knew it all. Yeah. He passed away, and then in his obit we read that he was it's called a tornado chaser. Like I guess in the war.
That's
it's
cool.
Like, that's someone's job is to who goes into the tornadoes.
Yeah, so Moldavite is actually
doing
one
the hard
of the
work.
crystals that that carries a lot of light energy, and being Metatronia light therapist, it helps me stay in that light vibration, especially like, you know, when I have tiger's eye, which kind of protects me from other people's energy, but Moldavite raises
what does that mean?
energy.
Is that another crystal?
Mm-hmm. Tiger's eye? Yeah, I have some tiger's eye in the box right here. I always keep it near my cards because it's a protection stone, and I do a lot of energy work with other people on my cards, so it just keeps them nice and safe, and I'll tend to like pick them up and hold them while I'm reading for people and stuff like that, where it's grounding and it like helps you not pick up people's junk and kind of, you know, I gave you some guidance, now your energy is your energy and my energy is my energy.
Mm-hmm. So, and then something like the cards, that was the place that you trained. You said they go over all that stuff.
Oh,
right?
I've done classes at all different wellness centers now. Like I started at that healing circle, the psychic training circle, and then I just took other classes at wellness centers. What's it called? Woman of Wisdom in Stoughton. I took some classes at Open Doors in Braintree, and then I moved out to Rhode Island. So there's a place, Blue Dragonfly Wellness Center, Grateful Heart. Some of the people that work at Wild Witches, I learn with them. There's a woman, Denise Sales. She's been a medium for 12 years, and she runs Wild Witches, and she's a very gifted medium. A lot of mediums that work together, they'll kind of like teach each other as they go, and like I said, after doing work I get very, very like in a fog, people would call it, like you just feel distorted, but it's just because you've just been receiving and giving so much energy, and intuitively I feel like
sounds
I'm
intense.
all done. It is intense. It's fun though. You start to get used to it. Like days where I'm channeling spirit after spirit, hours and hours on end, like it's a 9 to 5, like I'm like scared like driving home because like I'm just like done.
It is intense, I think. Is it mostly like, do you see, I guess, is there an equal amount of men and women who kind of get into something like this, or does it seem to be more women?
What I've seen is typically women. I mean,
I was gonna say like women tend to be
forward,
more nurturing, more open.
Yeah,
to
I guess.
things. I don't know.
But it makes me excited to see when men are in the field. I know like almost like 100, almost over 100 women that are in this, and maybe like 5 men. yeah, like you said, like they're more nurturing. Like they're, I guess, you know, in society, men are more programmed to be like builders and makers and fixers, and women are more like dancers and things like that. And not that it's totally, you know, black and white, but you know, men are just kind of like, oh, that, what are you doing that yoga for? Like, why are you doing that?
Right.
You know, like, but it's nice to see when. I mean, I met my boyfriend in the meditation circle, so he's into the same things as me, and you know, there's a man that runs with his fiance. They run this place, White Wolf Dancing, and he's a shaman, and I believe he's a shaman. He does a lot. I believe, yeah, I think so. And there's a few different shamans that run wellness centers. I don't always know their titles because like where they've been trained, even though they're really gifted, if they call themselves shaman or not, but you know, there's a place, Enchanted Forest in Taunton, is run by a man, and they're out there, you know. But yeah, typically it's women.
Mm-hmm. So you said dancing. Let's talk. We can wrap a little bit with your. You mentioned belly dancing, right? As one of your things.
All right, sure. It's almost 6:30. You said I could be out of here by 6, but I'll do that a little bit for you to entertain you. But then I'm gonna get out of here, guy. Yeah. So belly dancing. I got started, actually, I was working at Open Doors in Braintree when I first started getting curious about belly dancing, because they offered they offered classes there, and there was this bookstore that I went to where I would get a lot of my metaphysical books in Taunton, and they had a beginner's belly dancer kit, and I picked it up, you know, just played the tapes, doing a little self-taught stuff off of YouTube, and I realized that I was quite a natural, and I kept up with it. I had my tinctures, you know, I just kind of worked with that part of my body, and it's really challenging, and you know, I got better at it as I was practicing. I have a few belly dancer friends, and I picked up a few pointers from them, and then I took a few classes, and I really love it. It's very empowering. It's very about loving yourself and seeing yourself as a goddess, no matter what shape you are, no matter what size you are. I actually went to a festival where they had a group of belly dancers, and they were all different size girls. It's not just the thin girls or the whatever girls. Like, they were like bigger girls that were just giving off this energy where it was just, by the fact that they're dancing, everyone's excited, and it was really, really beautiful. And it's amazing core work. Like, they're so strong.
Yeah,
like, a lot of the things they do was pretty challenging. So yeah, I took a few courses on that, and I got I got a few classes from them while I was at the festival, and then I took some courses at White Wolf Dancing, and they're having more belly dancing courses there too. White Wolf Dancing in Norton, Mass.
Then you also do yoga.
I do. Oh, yes, I did a lot of yoga as well. Moving down to Providence, there was a place, I believe in Cranston, where I took a whole bunch of yoga. And when you first sign up with them at Rafa Yoga, they have this this thing where you can have like an unlimited amount of yoga for a month when you start out. So I literally took different styles of yoga every single day to see what I liked, and then I kept up with the ones that I liked. And they had like aerial yoga where you're on like the harnesses and stuff, and then they had like hip hop dancing yoga and like all these different kinds of styles of yoga, and every yoga teacher kind of takes their favorite thing and goes with it and teaches it. So and they had like sweat yoga, and like I feel like, you know, when you do yoga, to try to have a variety of things, it's kind of like your body needs a little bit of everything, like moving around fast paced, but then also stretching so you don't hurt yourself, and breathing, like deep breathing yoga where you're kind of just relaxing yourself. It's kind of like what you need that day, almost like the kind of the same thing as crystals. Like, you don't just need one crystal, like you kind of do a little bit of everything. I
was gonna ask this, the whole kind of yoga, crystal, kind of meditation, that whole kind of like new age, holistic thing. I mean, what do you think about, like, what is it about all that stuff that kind of draws certain people like to that's kind of a crowd?
When they
a search
a lot
for
of times they don't
self-betterment or meaning.
It depends.
Or
it depends on why. The reason why they got there isn't really what's important. It's the fact that they're there. Because everybody can get into it for different reasons. Like, oh, I know someone who collects these, or I just like them. Like, it doesn't matter what got you there, but you know, once you're there, they a lot of times don't realize they were using their intuition to get there. But the fact that they're there, it's going to help them. And Open Doors in Braintree, I know, like, since we're in you know, we're in Massachusetts, and that's one of the ones that's really close to you. You know, with all the different centers I know of.
Can I get a discount Can I get a...
No, I don't work at that one anymore, but I did work there for a long time.
Yeah.
They have many, many people working out of there, and they have a wall of crystals, and they all say what they do, and so it's not like you don't got to ask all.
So are those expensive?
No, they have them like in jars, and you buy
Okay.
like a few for a couple dollars. Like they're not very expensive at all. And there's different places like on the internet and things like that where you can purchase crystals. But I personally enjoy feeling them,
Right.
and like feeling if they feel right, and you never
you get
know
it
what
on
you're getting,
Amazon.
you
Who
never know.
knows what you're getting?
Yeah, and also
It's made of
who
plastic.
could touch it? Yeah, and you don't know. Yeah, totally. But it's definitely something where you want to go with your gut and kind of just like if you pick it up and you feel like you should be picking it up, it's because you should be. And then when you read it, you're like, wow, that's what I'm going through. Then you can be like, whoa, that's crazy.
That it matches.
Yeah.
What the.
What you typically
yeah,
need.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's fun. It's fun. It's trippy.
So that seems to be the theme: is kind of trust your intuition. What is the tattoo? That's what I was gonna ask. So it's a Care Bear, which I didn't notice before. Trust. All right. It says on her wrist, trust. TRUST. Which and regret is on the other side.
Regret?
Is that what it says?
It says respect.
Oh, Freudian reading. That's my battle. It should be on my wrist. Trust versus regret. Trust and respect.
Those are two really important things to me. Like to respect yourself, respect others, respect your space, respect other people's space, and trust. Trust what you feel in your gut and trust yourself. And if you don't feel you trust somebody, that's okay. You need to understand boundaries.
So the final thoughts then, dude. When you, so having gravitated away from stuff like traditional religion with the Catholic Church, and I mean, you weren't, like you said, you weren't that young when you lost somebody like your mother, but was it from your parents, from your like?
Yeah, I was raised. I was raised in the Catholic Church, but my mother, which I'm sure her mother in the old way of thinking was like, how dare you do that to your child and let them make their own choices. Which I mean, I love my grandmother and I respect her, but it's just people grow out of stigmas. Like this is what you have to do because it's what everybody does. And
Right. My grandmother, I think it was a big stigma that my mom was gonna have a kid out of wedlock and as a single mom and stuff. And then she went on to really rescue me, and be supportive and and love me.
Yeah, but
so.
my mother exposed us to the Catholic Church because it's what she was raised doing, but then kind of gave us the option if we wanted to stick with it or not once we were teenagers, which I really think was a good idea because towards the end of her life, she was into like Buddhism and Taoism and stuff like that, and she became very enlightened, and it brought her so much serenity that it showed me that you don't have to just pick the religion you were born into because you were born into it. Like if it doesn't work,
kids
for you,
get
that's okay.
put into it. Right. That's interesting that she went into Buddhism and from something as rigid as Catholicism. Do you know where she ended up there?
Well, because she was, because she was terminally ill, and I think maybe like when people are going through something really traumatic in their mind, that they can seek serenity wherever because they're like, what else do I have to lose? Like, my life is shorter now, where I might as well do what makes me happy instead of making the approval of others.
Which is a good message anyway. But I think people put up so many walls. Because the ego says, "Oh, we'll be around forever, and we'll get to that thing we want eventually."
Yeah, I really feel like that probably was a lot of what was going through her mind. That she's not going to be around forever, and she really, I think was looking for a place where her soul could be at ease to receive the fact that she had met, met the end. My mother's passing was a pretty far out time. She was at Milton Hospital, which my grandmother chose because it's like with the Mother Mary image in the window, and like there was a lot of supernatural energy there and spiritual, and like people would come. It was right around the same time that happened that my mother was ill in the hospital with the Mother Mary image with the water thing, and there was a lot of people outside praying, like huge groups of people. And like that was kind of cool that that's where my mother was at. So
just in general, like for everyone or a specific.
It was
person?
for everyone. It was for people to see. Like, I don't know if you remember it on the news because it was a long time ago now, but there was this like water that had got stuck between two window panes, and there was an image of the Blessed Mother Mary that looked exactly like
wow.
it, and they felt like it was a sign from God or whatever, which, you know, those things, you know, who's to say it is or it isn't, but there was, like, you know, little sanctuaries all over the ground looking up at this window at the hospital, like...
People also could collect potato chips that look like like celebrities.
But the fact it's just the fact of the you know, the faith around there, and it was cool that people come there just to pray, you know, because whatever they believe, it doesn't really matter. But you know, it was just a nice praying spot for my mother to pass away.
Well, that's kind of a good of the film Dogma. That's like one of the core messages. You know, is like that. I think. The final thing you come to is like it's not important what your faith is, just that you have faith.
Yes.
I think in something in general, you know.
Sweet.
So that's a good note to end on.
Yes, just like we are Dogma.
We are our own set of values. We are. What are we? We're just what is it? Stardust.
Yeah, we're bags of stardust that can talk.
Ashes to ashes, dust to dust.
Namaste, Mike.
All right, so that was Kelly, man, and that was cool. So hey, I am Mike O'Toole, and check me out. I am Michael Phelan O'Toole. You can find me on Instagram, Michael P. O'Toole, Facebook, Mike O'Toole, Twitter. And check out experimentallyill.com. Again, it's going to be over 100 audio episodes. Like I said, we played around with some video, and thanks to those who've helped out. And hope you stick around. I'm thinking of different projects to do, maybe some more solo stuff, some monologue stuff, some other film stuff. I was trying to do more writing. Shout out to my friend Lawrence Hawley out there in California, and our friend, of course, Miss Mary Mack, doing the modeling thing, and that was cool to hear a little bit about her, kind of exploring some of the stuff we talked about today. Yeah. And shout out to my friend, filmmaker John Hartman. Check out the movie he's working on. It's called The Shackling. It's coming together. He's been working on it for a few years. Our buddy Victor is in there, and it's about he's kind of the shallow celebrity guy, and he ends up getting shot on the fashion runway and falls into this purgatory chasm, and he has to kind of go through this TV archway. Mary plays the angel that's kind of beckons him through the archway. That's right, and he has to kind of find his way to redemption, his life of excess and sort of vapid BS. You know, he arrives at his own truth, and he's got all these funny and quirky commercials in there, and it's kind of a social commentary on some of the stuff we talked about, the media saturation and sort of the stuff you have to discern where the truth is. So check that out, realgroovyfilms.com for that, REEL, and again, experimentallill.com, and thanks to Kelly, we kind of arrived at our own trust, and respect. Mm-hmm. And I have that for you coming on here. You know?
Oh, of course. Thank you for having me. I mean, I know I feel like I'm pressing I just got more packing to do because I'm moving. But thank you so much for having me on here. It's been quite an honor, and it's been really cool kind of coming to our conclusions and feeling kind of spiritual and funky.
Aren't you always that though? Isn't that?
Yeah, it's what I do. So thank you for partaking with that with me, and
I'm glad. Hopefully that'll
being
rub
open
off.
to it. And
I'm a spiritual person. I am open to that stuff. I think it's cool.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It can be, you know, it's pretty fun.
And also trying time, like anything, which is also, you know, something creative or something. Anytime you give yourself to something and you open yourself up, because you're kind of being, you know, the callers today, they're vulnerable, but you're, like you said, you're opening yourself up too. And then today, you know, thanks for sharing some of your personal story. I think people will get a lot from it.
Yeah, thank you.
Why I do what I do.
I'm excited to share this recording with people. To promote you, but to also promote myself is it's really helpful to kind of have like a live recording of what mediums do and how people feel about it and what got me here, and like it's everything today.
Cool. So I'm glad we got that. We got that on there, man. you got to persist. Following those dreams, there's going to be obstacles, and you got to persist. And what do we say here? Experimentally Ill, episode 101, September 30th, 2017. We say persist to get ill.
I feel terrible about what happened to his daughter. But feeling terrible, knowing something is wrong, does not give any of us the right. Ladies and gentlemen, your duty is clear. All in this courtroom know the truth. All in this state